Guys, how are we doing? And welcome back to another video. This is the Fighters Forecast. It is your boy Tenant speaking, and we are here to break down Dricus du Plessis versus Kamaru Usman. Some people say Usman is the welterweight GOAT. He's definitely one of them. If he's not one, he's two. In my opinion, he is the one I've seen accomplish the most, but obviously the accolades of GSP are there. Kamaru Usman is a legendary 170 pounder of all time. He is fighting one of my favorite fighters in Dricus du Plessis here. If you guys don't know, I was all over this guy. He was actually on the first card that I bought for the pay-per-view. I think it was like 272 or some shit. It was Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier. But yeah, they're fighting in Oklahoma City here, so it's not an Apex card. There's some absolute sleeper banger matchups here on this card. But this is going to be a nice one here, but it's also a pretty tricky one, in my opinion. Lots of guys that, their styles clash, or there's lots of guys that you never really heard of before, so you don't know if they can live up to the lights. You know what I mean? But it's going to be a good card here in Oklahoma City. This is the full card prediction, guys. We got no sponsor today. I've been waiting for that shit to pop up, but there ain't no sponsor yet. Hopefully one comes, but there ain't no sponsor. But before I get into this breakdown, I want to shout out Zaspani FC. That is the Sunday League soccer team I play on, guys. We got a huge dub, a 3-1 dub, as we were down two players. You know how fucking shit the other team is to lose 3-1 when you're playing 11v9? Absolute clown shoe bum fools, and they deserve to get relegated like they will because they're a bunch of bums. We have Big John John playing out of goal. He normally plays goalie, he played center mid. We had Coachman Steven coaching us, making sure everything was legit and we were tight. We had me and Big Khan in the back. Mario up top scored three, the GOAT. But a good performance from Jaspani FC, and we'll update you guys next week. We play normally on Sundays, so hopefully every week I can update you guys. But enough waffling about that bullshit here. I mean, it's not bullshit. We are the best team in the fucking league. But we're coming here to break down UFC Fight Night, du Plessis versus Usman in Oklahoma City. First fight of the night, guys. We break it down from the bottom to the top. First fight of the night. This fight literally just got added like a day ago, I think it was. It is Damian Anderson versus Ezra Elliott. It is two undefeated prospects clashing here in their UFC debuts. I think the reason they did this was because the bum ass Kevin Holland pussy boy fucking dropped out of his fight because he's a pussy boy and the guy doesn't take his career serious. Jacoby Smith was gonna be in the Hammer of the Week, but Kevin Holland wanted to dip because he knew he was about to get fucked up. Anyways, they had to add this 12th fight because if you guys didn't know, you're not allowed to have 11 fights on an actual card. There needs to be minimum 12. I'm just waffling, bro. I have no clue. But they just added these two guys here, Damian Anderson versus Ezra Elliott. Damian Anderson, we'll break him down first. A wrestler, a grappler, some of the best double leg and single leg snatches you will see on the regional scene. Jamie Anderson, nickname is Demon Hands. He's got decent hands. I wouldn't say demon hands. But the guy throws with absolute intent. He tries to take your head off. He's got great wrestling and scramble skills. And he's fighting a guy who's more of a jiu-jitsu guy, and Ezra Elliott here. He's really good once the fight is on the ground. He can really transition and scramble to your back, try and transition to side saddle. He loves to sit in that side saddle position inside control. But a guy like Ezra Elliott, he doesn't have the takedowns to actually get the fight there. So I believe if this fight's standing, Damian Anderson is the winner. If Anderson's shooting offensive takedowns, he's going to get Ezra Elliott down. And as long as he doesn't make a mistake on the ground, he can absolutely just control him to a victory here. So I think Damian Anderson's going to be my pick here. I'm not too familiar with both these dudes, to be honest. So I'm not sure what the line's going to be. But I'm going to go Damian Anderson here on short notice. The latest addition to this card. Give me Damian Anderson. Next fight, we have Alvin Hines against RJ Harris, one of the most low-level fights in the UFC in the heavyweight division. Alvin Hines got popped last year for using steroids. I think he was caught with 3 different substances in his stream. Alvin Hines, we watched him get the shit kicked out of him against Jonathan Deniz. If you guys didn't know, that was the hammer of the week, Jonathan Deniz. We knew he was going to fuck this guy up, but Alvin Hines showed crazy toughness in that matchup. The guy did not want to go away, and Deniz is known for power here. But some of that, I question myself here because I don't know if Alvin Hines is truly that tough, or it was just the steroids taking over here, and that's why he didn't get knocked out because he took some massive damage in that fight. But Alvin Hines, he's a decent grappler, a decent striker. He is durable. So we think because he was on roids, so we weren't sure. He's fighting a guy in RJ Harris here who is a monster for this weight class. He is 6'7". The guy's an absolute tower, and he uses his length when he strikes. He'll put a nice jab out there and then come in with a two over the top. RJ Harris has decent grappling as well. If someone wants to shoot a lazy takedown on him, he normally breaches his arm over and tries to get them in like a front headlock to make them disengage. RJ Harris is just a striker. If you get this guy down to the ground, flat on his back, he is screwed here. I don't touch this fight if you're betting it. To be honest, I really don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to go Alvin Hines here because I saw the durability in his last fight. I think he has the wrestling to get RJ Harris to the ground. He just can't get caught on the way in by RJ Harris because the guy is a massive motherfucker and he can really bang. I'm gonna go Alvin Hines. I think if it takes him down, I think he ground and pounds him. Just rinse and repeat. He showed good cardio as well. Give me Alvin Hines. Next fight is Alden Correa against Stuart Nickel. Alden Correa is better everywhere in this matchup. Alden Correa is better on the ground. He's better on the feet. He's just too smooth for Stuart Nickel here. And that's pretty much like it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like Stuart Nickel, the guy's very like rough and tough. He's got decent wrestling, decent jiu-jitsu, but on the feet he offers absolutely nothing. Remember, he came into the UFC, he was 8-0 and he lost his first three matchups. And this one is not going to be any different. Alden Correa is going to go in there. He's going to do whatever he wants. If he wants to wrestle, he's the better wrestler. If he wants to strike, he's going to knock him out. I think Alden Correa makes Stuart Nickel look like a regional fighter here. And I think Alden Correa wins by knockout. Next fight, we got Felipe Franco versus Leve Rodriguez Jr. Rodriguez Jr., I watched this guy in the Contender Series. He throws absolute baseballs when he tries to knock you out. The guy just throws from his hips. He puts every single ounce of energy and power into his shots, and he has decent cardio as well. Coming off that knockout victory on the Contender Series, he looked pretty decent here. But he's fighting Felipe Franco. Felipe Franco is a decent wrestler here. But if you remember this guy, he lost to Freddie Vidal on the Contender Series, and Freddie Vidal is an absolute bum, fool, idiot, clown. Okay? Freddie Vidal is trash, and if you have a loss to Freddie Vidal, you're doing something wrong in life. Because Felipe Franco was winning that matchup. And how a guy gasses out fighting Freddie Vidal, and then in the last 20 seconds of the fight he gets finished, you should be embarrassed, Felipe Franco. But Franco is the better wrestler here, but he is not better on the feet. Lever Rodriguez, kind of makes it seem like he's a bum on the feet, but he really, really isn't. The guy loves to have his feints make you just miss his face so he can come back with the right. Levi Rodriguez is decent in the grappling as well when he is shooting offensively. If Franco can shoot offensively on Levi and get him down to the ground, he's going to have great success. But if Franco gets the takedown stuffed, he is fucked. I think Levi Rodriguez Jr. stuffed the takedowns, maybe not in the first round, but Franco does slow down. So maybe in the second round, things aren't going Franco's way. He gets stuffed, and then he's fucked on the feet. Give me Levi Rodriguez Jr. by knockout. Next fight, we have Suk Young Ko against Jean Paul Labosiani. We're going to call him Jean Paul because that name is a tongue twister. Suk Young Ko, beat Oban Elliott. That was one of the wins that made me really look at this guy and like, okay, this guy's actually not too bad because Oban Elliott is not a bum at all, in my opinion. But Suk Young Ko, he throws with absolute intent to take your head off. He's got good wrestling, good transitions. I actually like this guy as a fighter, to be honest. I think he's very good for this 170 division. Suk Young Ko loves to come out there with that Khabib style and kind of just take you down, lay on you, and make you tired. He also has a really weird stance, a wide stance. And he kind of like splits his legs and his hands are like this, kind of like, come in here, I'm waiting for you. And he'll kind of try and counter, but he's not that good at it. But it's somehow working. He gets the wins. But he's fighting Jean Paul. And Jean Paul, if you don't remember this guy on the Contender Series, had a beautiful left high kick on Jack Crongdon, knocked him out in the first round. Jean Paul, he's very interesting because this guy came from 155. So you'd think he's a little bit small, but they're actually the same size in this matchup here. Both fighting Phil Rowe as their last opponent. Suk Ko had better success against Phil Rowe. Jean Paul had success, but Suk Ko had the better success. They both beat Phil Rowe because Phil Rowe sucks. But I think you need to take that with a grain of salt here, in my opinion, because Phil Rowe is a tough matchup for Jean Paul because Phil Rowe's so tall. So he can't use the high kicks. He can't use what he likes to do in there to try and make you guess because he couldn't reach Phil Rowe with his high kicks. Suk Ko, you can reach. I think he's only 6'1". Phil Rowe is 6'5". I think Jean Paul is the better striker here in this matchup. As long as he doesn't get lulled into that thing where he goes, oh no, I can't really go in. This guy's standing so weird. Jean Paul is a decent wrestler as well. I'm kind of confused with this line, to be honest. I thought it would be kind of close to a pick 'em. Jean Paul is plus 170. I think there's value there. I think Jean Paul looks good in this matchup, and I'm going to pick him to win. Give me Jean Paul Labosiani in this matchup. Next, we have a banger. We have Jose Delgado against Austin Bashi. This is not the guy that texted me, guys. The guy that texted me is named Jose Delano. Jose Delgado coming off that win against Andre Philly, where he was the better striker in that matchup. But the takedown defense concerns me, especially in this matchup. Jose Delgado in this matchup is going to have to defend a shitload of takedowns from Austin Bashi because that's who Austin Bashi is. He is incredibly in shape. He has incredible cardio, and he will keep going every single time. It doesn't matter if it gets stuffed. It doesn't matter if he has to stand and throw for a bit. Austin Bashi is a complete dog, and he will get in your face and throw. But Jose Delano is the better striker here. He is much taller in this matchup at 6 foot tall at 145. Um, definitely the better striker, but like I said, his takedown defense is not good. And Austin Bash, that's all he is. He's not that great on the feet, but he's got great wrestling. And I think he can get inside Jose Delgado in this matchup here, and he can get him down to the ground and control him. I don't see Jose Delgado getting up. I don't see him, being a dog. But if Austin Bashi can't get a takedown, he's fucked because Delgado can stand on the feet and he is dangerous. He can light you up. He can knock you out. He is an absolute psychopath killer in there. He will march forward and just try and take your head off. But in my opinion here, I think Austin Bashi comes forward, he gets the takedowns, and he can land ground and pound or he can hunt submissions. Give me Austin Bashi as the underdog in this matchup. Speaking of absolute psychopaths, we have Tommy McMillan. This is the teammate of Sugar Sean O'Malley. And he's fighting Alberto Montes here, aka Ilya Toptoro, because they kind of look the same. But we're talking about Tommy McMillan here. I'm not impressed with Tommy McMillan. I don't think the guy's that good, and I hope he comments on this video because he's known for, taking things with a grain of salt. Getting mad, getting, just talking in the comments saying, "Oh, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know what you're talking about." This guy thinks he's big shit. He beat Manolo Zucchini. The guy's fucking terrible. He shouldn't be in the UFC. I could walk in there with one leg and beat Manolo Zucchini. The guy's a bum. But he's fighting a real fighter here in Alberto Montes. If you don't know who this guy is, which some of you don't, he has some of the best anaconda and Darce chokes in the game. The way you watch this guy, if he gets you down to the ground and he has you in a front headlock position, meaning if you're on all fours and he is facing you and he has you in a front headlock, you're dead because that is his prime setup for the anaconda Darce choke. This guy's submissions are absolutely disgusting here, and I don't think Tommy McMillan has the fight IQ to avoid them. Tommy McMillan, in my opinion, is the slightly better striker here. Not technically, but the guy's a dog. He will run forward. He will throw. He will just try and take you out. Alberto Montes is more calculated, and he will try and read you and make feints on you to try and make you react. But if Tommy McMillan overextends here and Alberto Montes takes this guy down and he has him in that front headlock, it's GG's. The game is over. Alberto Montes will win by sub. And I don't like Tommy McMillan's fight IQ. And I don't think he's that technical, to be honest. I think Alberto Montes has decent enough striking to keep Tommy at bay. He then gets the takedown or in a clinch and can lock up some weird submission here. I'm going Alberto Montes for my third underdog in a row. Next fight, we have Chase the Dream Hooper against Mitch Ramirez. Holy shit. An absolutely terrible fight. How this is the third fight from the top is ridiculous. Chase Hooper is a kid bum fool clown. I think this guy lost one of my Hammer of the Weeks one time, and I'm never putting this guy into the shit ever again because he's a bum. Chase Hooper sucks. His striking is non-existent, but he's got good jiu-jitsu. You know, if you want to stand and bang with Chase Hooper, you're gonna win. It doesn't matter who you are. But if you want to put that jiu-jitsu nerd bullshit game with Chase Hooper, then you're gonna get submitted. It's that simple. The game plan is that simple. Stand and bang. He's fighting Mitch Marias here, a guy, who will stand and bang, but who lacks the fight IQ here because I can't even talk. Mitch Ramirez you know, will try and wrestle as well. Like he's a wrestler at his core. His base is wrestling. But am I just dyslexic? Mitch Ramirez should stand in this matchup, and I think he does here. Because if you're fighting Chase Hooper, like I said, fucking stand. And Mitch Ramirez will. I think he will. I think he can stand, but I don't think it's going to be enough because he's just not that good. Like, this fight is an absolute trap. Chase Hooper at minus 400 is an absolute joke. That guy's a bum. Do not touch this fight at all. I'm going to pick Chase Hooper, but I am not throwing that guy in any bets whatsoever. Next fight, we have Jared the Killer Gorilla Cannonier against Christian Leroy Duncan. Jared Cannonier is getting to the point in his career where he's 42 years old. He's an old guy, a little bit washed up. He's had a couple losses in a row. Still hits like a freight train, but he's getting slower. The head movement is becoming non-existent here. Jared Cannonier has massive power, decent wrestling here, but I don't think this will be a wrestling fight. I think this will be a stand-up fight against CLD. CLD, very quick, very fast, very accurate, and he has some weird spins to his game here. Christian Leroy Duncan, in my opinion, if he stands there at range, at kicking range, he can chop the tree of Jared Cannonier. He can get inside and get back outside very quickly. Get a little one, get in, get out again, because Jared Cannonier does have those wildly impressive, powerful hooks that you have to watch out for. But other than that, CLD should be the better striker here in a mostly striking matchup. There should not be a lot of wrestling. If anything, CLD will clinch and he'll land some blows. But CLD is the better striker here, especially against a 42-year-old Jared Cannonier. I think CLD gets us done by knockout. The last fight of the night, it is Dricus du Plessis against Kamaru Usman. Dricus du Plessis is one of my favorite fighters, guys. The guy goes in there, he's got no game plan whatsoever apart from taking your fucking head off. This guy goes in there and he goes in there to kill. Everyone was concerned about this guy's cardio. They fixed his nose. He's looked fantastic, especially in those two Sean Strickland fights, who is the current champion of the division. He beat Sean Strickland both times, coming off that loss to Khamzat Chimaev, where Chimaev just nut hugged him for 25 minutes. DDP has phenomenal striking, and it comes from weird angles, which makes it so hard to read. And that's why DDP is so good, because he will come forward. He's got great leg kicks. He's got a weird striking style that will just get in your face and just make you question what you're doing in there. And that's why DDP is so successful. He creates weird angles. He goes in there and he just throws and pressures you with his cardio, with his forward pressure, and with his boxing. Kamaru Usman, we know this guy. He is a staple in the 170 division. He's one of the greatest of all time in the 170 division. Kamaru Usman is a wrestler. And, he wrestled Hakeem Buckley in that last fight. And Hakeem Buckley had no success in that matchup. I don't care what anybody says whatsoever. Usman is a wrestler. His striking is not on par here. He's going to try and wrestle Dricus du Plessis. And this could be concerning for Dricus because he just came off a Khamzat Chimaev loss where he literally just grappled you the entire time. Now, does Usman have enough power and strength to get DDP to the ground? I don't think so. He's coming up from 170 to 185. It's a complete different weight class. They're a lot bigger. They hit a lot harder up here. And Dricus du Plessis used to be the champion. This guy is nowhere near washed. He's not old enough yet. I think Kamaru Usman, could get in on some body locks here, but I don't know if he gets DDP to the ground. And if he does, I think Usman gets a little bit tired in the later rounds, and DDP can take over here. I'm going to take DDP by knockout. I'm pretty confident in that because Kamaru Usman's never really fought up here at 185, maybe against Chimaev and lost, but it just hits way harder here. And if Dricus can touch the chin of Kamaru Usman, I think it's lights out, and I think it's good night. So I'm going DDP in this matchup. in the main event. It's going to be an absolute banger of a card. Some tough ones to pick for sure on this card. And, like, not a lot of great confidence in this card here, but those are the reads that I've got throughout the week, kind of just watching the tape. And that's what we're going with, guys. Right then and there. That's the full card breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the hammer of the week.